Canceled all guarantees. All right, we're live.
And we're live in California and in Seattle, but
And
the
probably
guarantee.
a few places in between.
Well, I don't think so.
You don't think
You,
so?
you think we're live in Oregon as well as California and Washington?
You think, well, listen, they can hold out the box. They could click onto the internet, like in places like Hoodsport and Seaside and Coos Bay and all of those pretty little
Pretty little towns.
towns along the Oregon coast.
Where,
What do you
where,
think
where-
about the Oregon coast, Michael?
I love the Oregon coast.
There's a
In fact,
job in the Oregon coast.
where? Coos Bay?
Hoodsport.
Oh, is that that country station that wants Seattle sports?
No, that's general. It's what do you call it? It's for general manager.
That's you. I can't
You
sit behind
know,
the general manager's desk.
and you know who owns the station?
If Jiggerman, who?
Delilah.
No.
Yes.
Boy, I didn't think she was still in the business. She's still ragging on people at night. She starts off really nice, and pretty soon she's ripping into them.
Don't say very nice things about Delilah because I'm going to call her up and see if she wants a general manager for her radio station in Hoodsport. Now, the only thing I got to address, I got to go down and see, is to live in Hoodsport, do you have to wear a hood? Because Oregon can be like that.
Yeah, they invented it.
They have a case of it there.
Where is Hood Sport?
It is north of Coos Bay and south of Tillamook and Cannon Beach.
Where the mighty Columbia
Well,
River
below the Columbia.
below the Columbia. Okay,
Yeah, the Columbia is the
border.
dividing line there.
Right.
That's Astoria.
Yeah, Astoria. That's the town I was
Yeah.
trying to think of.
Yeah, that's a little more north. This is about halfway down the state.
I wonder how many signals in that town.
Well, I would think there'd be one or two in Coos Bay. I think this one's the only one in that particular town. There's only 4,400 people in the town, but really the reality is you're not doing signaling. You're not worried about the signal so much as you are
Local sales.
putting content on there and just going out and doing dollar a holler sales.
That's it.
That's it. Tom's Used Cars would like you to know that every week thousands are killed in a used car.
Tom's Used Cars, by the way, brought to you by Tom's Used Cars, the home of Tom's Used Cars.
Right, where Tom and his used cars can be in trouble. But anyway, I think we'll take a look at that, man.
What are the call letters?
KDUN.
K Dunn?
K Dunn, or Dune, I guess.
Oh, Dune. Okay, that's better.
Yeah. So
you can be M Dune.
I think they do Delilah at night, and then they do adult rock during the day. Although, my question becomes, what is adult rock these days?
And the answer to that is our consultant will tell you.
Well, Mikey, I think you could score with Rat Pack Radio down there.
Just Frank, Dino, and
I think you could do
Peter Lawford reading Chrysler commercials.
Yeah, I think you could put together a kind of a hip, what was that format that Norman Davis did that time on the city when it went belly up? American Contemporary.
Well, they called it big band, but it really wasn't big band.
Yeah, it was vocals.
Beyond that. Yeah, it was beyond that.
It was a nice mix though, something along those lines. Although I think the whole Rat Pack Radio thing might be an interesting.
How How many times can you play Corina Corina by Dean Martin?
But see, that's the thing. You don't just play. I mean, how many times could you play it? But you don't have to go in a heavy rotation with those songs. I mean, if you listen to Seriously Sinatra, they do a lot of different interesting things. Especially if you married it up to maybe a talk slash music format.
Pretend Dwight Eisenhower's president, do a talk radio for.
Yeah, so yeah, 50s talk radio. Nobody talks about anything current. Everybody talks about something that happened in the 50s. I don't
That'd
know.
be
I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know what you do. I don't know what works down there. There's 4,000 people in the town. Who the hell knows what would work there?
Well, research is accurate, but not cheap. In a couple of weeks, you could talk to everybody in town and find out what they
Well,
want
I
to
was
know.
going to say, who needs research? I could just go knock on 4,000 doors, and there's probably 2,000 doors in town. I could just walk through the town and ask people what they want to hear.
If you could get the results of just 1,000 people, you'd have a better idea than anybody else in town what to do. That
You
is
can
providing
literally
that they
walk down the
know.
street and take requests.
Now, if someone asked you what sort of radio you wanted to hear in Seattle, what would your answer be?
What would I want to hear in Seattle? Well, I always thought that the mountain was the ultimate Seattle radio station.
What happened to it?
It went away.
Well, what do they do now? Another end?
Well, yeah, no, they do. What are they doing on the mountain? They're doing like a contemporary hits, but there's a new station that just started, KKNW, which actually is part of the group that I do my show on Saturday. Part of that group, and they just signed on a music station that is, I won't say mimicking the mountain, but is
AAA in the
definitely
broader term.
borrowing heavily.
Yeah.
John Fisher is on there as I think he's the only jock on the station.
So they're going low budget, but high.
Mikey, who goes high budget in radio anymore?
Just news talk. It's still the most expensive format.
Yeah, I mean, name me anybody who's doing music who goes high budget. If you're doing music, you're making $25 an hour, $30 an hour, and you're happy to make it.
You're lucky to make it.
Yeah, I mean, John Fisher hadn't had a show in I don't know, 5 years.
He was one of the mainstays from the old mountain days. I can't think
Yeah,
of another.
yeah. I used to do sports with him in the morning. When I was on Cairo, they had me do sports with him. Him and West, Mike West,
Right.
whose real name is Vinnie, actually. Um, so I don't know. I'm see what happens. Maybe it'll. It sounds good. I've listened to it. It sounds good. They don't talk a lot. It's a lot, just very musically intensive.
What did you hear that you liked? Do you recall?
What the hell did I hear? You know what? I can't off the top of my head, but I know it
Right.
was grooving. I know. I remember I was listening to it. The car I had the week before last didn't have a satellite radio in it.
What?
I know. So I cranked it on and listened to it, and I thought it was pretty good. I really, I thought they had a good, they no soul music or anything like that, but they had some 70s, 80s, 90s. They had some I think Cure. They had some David Bowie. They kind of skirted the rock and roll genres. It could you
Stevie Wonder or Otis Redding? Probably not.
I did not hear any black music whatsoever. Now, again, I
That's
only
because you're not from here, Vinny. So just don't
now
don't
if I were going to
misunderstand.
do something with the format, I think that's what I would do. Is I would put some, I would put some Earth, Wind, and Fire in there. I would put some, some not necessarily '60s Motown.
My Spotify files today played Bobby Womack. I'm looking for a love, and it was a
I'm looking for a love.
great version. I guess he wrote it.
Looking everywhere. I'm looking here and there. I'm
Yep.
looking for a love on my own.
Now, even the Jay Giles version should be played on the station that you were talking about if they if
Yeah,
they if
yeah,
they have any guts.
yeah. The Jigga. But who actually did a really great version of that song too was
Brenda
uh,
Lee? No.
Wayne Cochran and the CC Riders.
Oh, I bet they did.
Yeah.
I bet they did.
Now, did you know that Wayne Cochran wrote Last Kiss
Nope.
and had the first recording of it?
That was before he got his hair and had the soul band in
Oh, he had
Miami.
the hair. He still had the hair. But he recorded it in '62, and then J. Frank Wilson came along in '64 and covered it and had the hit.
Give me a hit.
It was a huge hit, that song.
Yeah.
That song was a huge song.
Well, when I was going to school in Miami, Wayne Cochran was going up and down the state. He played a lot of Florida dates, and he didn't mimic, but he took a lot of tricks from the Otis Redding book of stage tricks. His energy level, his voice, his inflections in songs, the type of music he played was all soul with a horn section and a white soul band. So they
Yeah,
were
they
they
were
were
good.
they
I
were
saw.
they were
I
very, they
remember
were
one
very
night,
good, very popular.
my brother and I and my friend George were in Atlantic City, and this was pre-casino Atlantic City,
Pre-Trump.
probably 69, 70, something like that. And we're hanging out on the boardwalk. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning. And coming down the boardwalk in formation is Wayne Cochran and the CC Riders. Not just walking together,
No,
but
no, no.
Wayne's like a step ahead of everybody else. And then it's like a V formation.
That's because you can sell a lot of tickets when you walk that way. Who the hell was that? That's Wayne Cochran and the CC Riders. We got to
I'll
go
never
see
forget
them.
that, man. We're looking at them, we're laughing because, Wayne, you could see his hair a block away.
Oh God, yeah.
And we knew who he was. I mean, it wasn't hard to hide who he was. He was appearing, I think, at that what's the club that was down there? The 411 Club or something like that. I think he was there. And
He was a
yeah,
caution. He was not a shy man. He was not. He was a bit.
three
He was.
o'clock in the morning. And he's out there. What are you little kids doing out here?
Yeah, shouldn't you be in school?
Shouldn't you be somewheres?
I have a follow up on the story that we talked about recently. The Los Angeles Dodgers got into a lot of trouble because they decided they were going to celebrate Pride Week by inviting a lot of gay groups to Dodger Stadium. And then
Yes.
they realized that they invited the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, LA chapter, and
Yes.
rescinded their invitation. They got into a lot of trouble for it. They couldn't make anybody happy. So they said, okay, we were wrong. We invite the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence to join us as we originally scheduled them, and they're welcome here anytime. Forgive our error. And that was you'd think the end of it until Clayton Kershaw, the cracker pitcher for the Dodgers, decided that he had to get into it and said that no, he did not welcome them to the Dodger Stadium. He had only one problem with them, not the fact that they were gay, not the fact that they dressed up as nuns, but the fact that they made fun of somebody else's religion. He says that's the only problem I have with the Sisters of Indulgence is they make fun of another religion, and I take that very seriously, and I can't abide by it. So not only did he put his foot in it, but he lied about why he was doing it, and it was obvious that he did it, and it would have been the headline until yesterday, when Steve Garvey said that he decided he wants to get into politics and he's going to run for senator of the U.S. Senate from the state of California and try and get Dianne Feinstein's seat in the upcoming election.
Well, no, he's going for not Feinstein's seat. He's going for Adam Schiff.
Adam Schiff is running for the Democrats, and Garvey will run for the Republicans.
Right, but I don't think that's Feinstein's seat. I think that's the other seat. I think that was Kamala Harris's seat.
Kamala Harris's seat, though, was taken by appointment. By
right,
but
that appointment only finishes out, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that appointment finishes out her term.
I think he already got elected the last time around to Kamala's seat because she was it was a 2-year window on that seat, and he had it for 2 years. He ran and was elected again.
Yeah, Feinstein's not going to run again. I mean, no.
Feinstein, unfortunately, probably can't make up her mind what she wants to do, which is sad.
Well, she probably wants to get out of there and go sit in the sun somewhere and enjoy the rest of her days. But unfortunately, there are a lot of other people who don't want to lose that. Make sure they don't lose that seat.
Exactly. And maybe she'll just hang out in the marina for the rest of her days.
Oh, isn't she up on? Is she in? Was she in the marina or is she up in
Pacific Heights?
Presidio Heights.
Yeah, Pacific Heights, I think. I think she might be out in the what's that neighborhood along the beach? Seadrift.
Yeah.
Sea Cliff, I mean.
Cliff, yeah. Yeah, I don't know, Steve Garvey. I mean, God bless him, I guess, if he can, I mean.
Is he going to be a Ron DeSantis Californian? Because there's a lot of books that we could get to burning out here. It's a long, cold winter. You got to burn something to stay warm.
You see, but here's it's another 75-year-old white guy running for an office. I mean,
is anybody surprised that Steve Garvey is a Republican?
No, no, it doesn't. It doesn't. Yes, it is Feinstein's seat. She's 89. She's announced she's not going to run again. 20 candidates had filed to run for her seat. Schiff, Porter, Barbara Lee.
Those are the top Democrats. Katie Porter from Orange County, Barbara Lee from Southern California.
Yeah.
Schiff from Southern. All the candidates are Southern Californians.
Yeah. There's somebody else that was in there too that Larry Elder. When he finishes running for president, he'll run for Senate again.
There's your double play combination. We just need one more guy. Elder at second base, Steve Garvey at first. Junior Gilliam's dead. We can't press him into service.
Yeah, I mean,
Davy Lopes is not doing anything. Let him be the secretary of something.
Davy Lopes pass?
I don't think so.
Did he? I forget now. For some reason, I thought he may have, but listen, if Garvey wants to do, I'm sure that he could get the nom. Listen, if Tommy Tuberville could get elected to the Senate, why not Steve Garvey? The problem is, Michael, is where are the young people that want to run for Senate? Where are the 40 and 42 and 45-year-olds? We're going to get a guy. He's 74. He's going to be 80 when his term is up.
Those are prime earning years for senators.
Yeah, I mean, I could see if he was involved in politics before or something like that, but I don't know. Republican or Democrat, I just think we need some younger people, don't you?
Young book burners, or the young fascists among us. The
Well,
young
no,
idealistic fascists.
no, not fascist. I mean, just younger people to run for these office. You know, the Hakeem Jeffries of the world, and you know the Cory Bookers, and who's the guy in Texas that decided not to run? Will Hurd. You know, just some younger blood, man. That can start to. By the way, Davy Lopes is still alive. He's 77 years old. He was born May 3rd, 1945. Um, yeah, just just some younger blood that can tackle the problems. That I mean, again, I don't think not because somebody's old, but we have this certain kind of person who's going to go there. They're going to get the job not because they want to be a public servant, but because they want to be a celebrity.
Because they were famous enough to get the job.
Right. They miss being famous.
Yeah.
So this is a way for them to be famous again.
I'll bet
Um,
you could question Dodger fans right now, and a lot of the current young Dodger fans don't know who Steve Garvey is.
right. I mean, has Steve Garvey ever ran a neighborhood program? Has he ever run for any office before? Has he ever done anything in the community that would say to you, I'm interested in making my community better?
And think of his learning curve. How long do you think it would take him to learn how to be a senator? It's not an easy job.
Well, if Tommy Tuberville can do it.
Yeah, but that's if. If we can do it. I think the jury's still out on that one.
I don't want to. I mean, again, I don't want to be ageist about it. I just think that at some point, you need to turn this stuff over to younger people that have the energy and this and really new ideas, better ideas. I mean, Steve Garvey, again, I don't know him. It'd be interesting to see what he does, but I'll tell you, he'll probably be dishing up the same crap that Rick Santorum was dishing up. That just the same old tired, old regurgitated
Undoubtedly.
Republican dogma.
Yeah, what does Steve Garvey believe, and what are his positions on anything of importance right now? And
Well, I'm sure he'll
and who really
come up
cares?
with some. Listen, they got Herschel Walker to come up with some positions on some things.
Yes, he goes for the vampire over the Wolfman,
So
and it took forever to get that out of him.
you know, um, Garvey has that squeaky clean image. He'll probably do well in obviously in Southern California. Self-respecting Giants fan is going to vote for him.
Sorry, ain't going to
But
happen. By the way, the Giants are a 500 ball club. They're a game or two over 500, slowly working their way into what we would call a professional position in the league, where they got just Arizona and the Dodgers ahead of them right now, as far as I know. They're playing the Orioles, more interleague play for the Giants. There's two teams who have the same colors.
yes, two teams that wear orange and black. By the way, you know who the Mariners have called up?
No.
Mike Ford.
He's back.
He's back. You can't get rid of him.
Hey, the Giants would have kept him. He showed up and played ball for us.
They gave a ticket to Afghanistan or something like that, and all of a sudden he showed up again. He found his way back. Yeah, they called him. They called him up yesterday, so he'll meet them in Texas today as the Mariners go off on a road trip.
Mariners got a lot of accolades for the way they played the Yankees. They had a great series.
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't know if I want to call it a great series. I mean, they beat them yesterday in an extra inning game, but Yankees came in and beat the crap out of them for 2 days. Also, what was the first night? I think was 10-1 or something like that, or 10-2.
That happens to teams I follow for some reason.
Yeah,
Giants,
they roughed them around a bit. I thought. And the thing that's interesting is You look at the Yankees, and it doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like the Yankees.
They have a
You
lot of
know.
injuries
Well,
still.
no, it's just the players don't look Yankee-esque. I mean, I hate the Yankees. Listen, I don't like the Yankees, but there was a certain air about the Yankees when they came to town. It was a whole. They looked like baseball players.
Right.
The only guy on the Yankees that looks like a baseball player is Aaron Judge.
And he looks more like a tight end.
Everybody else looks kind of like the uniform is loose, and I don't know. It just doesn't look. Yankees. I mean, you think even the when Jeter was there, Jeter and Rodriguez and those guys. I mean, there was something about them. They looked like they commanded respect.
And also they
Today,
had dress codes on and off the field.
yeah, and it was I don't know. It was just they didn't look. They just didn't look like the Yankees to me. Again, I don't know. It's really kind of a weird. Now the Pirates. What happened with the Giants, man? The Pirates went in there and beat them up.
Giants don't know who they are. They're searching for an identity, and the closest that they're coming to finding that identity is the two kids they called up, uh, Casey. Let's see, Steve Bailey and Casey Schmidt. So the new infielder and catcher leading the team.
Yeah. Now Mickey Delaney just sent me a note here, and I had to check this because so you always check when people send you notes. Always check.
What does he insist on?
Mickey sent me a note. He says that the uh, New York NYY Mariners won both games 10-4, and that's not right because both games were 10-4, but the Yankees won both games 10-4 on the 29th, 10-4, and then they won. Then the Mariners won yesterday, so they still won. I mean, the Mariners had a good homestand. They won 8-2, I think, on a homestand, or eight
And the
and
funny
three.
thing about the Yankees scored 20 runs in 2 games, and then on the third game they can't score any runs.
The hell of a pitching duel, man. I mean, I watched most of that game. I mean, George Kirby was out there dealing.
Was that any relation to Durwood Kirby?
No, but you remember the comedian George Kirby?
Yes, I do.
He used to. What was his thing? Oh yeah. He was on the Sullivan Show a bunch of times, and
Yeah.
he looked very handsome African American guy. Came out, was funny, and then he'd stop in the middle of and he had his tagline was, "Oh yeah." He's got. So anyway, so the Giants get to have some fun with the Orioles,
Are
right?
they going to Baltimore for that, or is the Orioles coming to San Francisco?
Let me look here. Let's
Because
see. Friday, June 2nd, we have the where are you? Where are you, Giants? They are home playing the Orioles. The Orioles are surprising 35-21.
yeah, they're tough. If I
Yeah,
were the Giants, I would bring in Boog Powell and Manny Sanguillen to cook in the left field bleachers
yeah, smoke the
and
place out.
smoke the place out and unwittingly give the Giants the edge.
Yeah, Yankees are down by you.
Oh, Oakland.
No, you live in
Oh,
Los Angeles,
you're
so they're
right.
playing the Dodgers.
The Dodgers.
Yankees and the
That's it.
Dodgers.
That's
Classic. If you would say Yankees and the Dodgers, it would have to be kind of cool, and it would be World Series time.
Well, it's going to be cool with this overcast. So the Yankees will have to wear long sleeves, and the poor things. I hope they adjust well.
And the Mets are home for the Blue Jays, and Luis Castillo will be chucking tonight for the Seattle Mariners down in Texas. So that's your I guess your key matchups.
Did you see any basketball last night?
Yes, I did. I watched a decent part of that game, and let me tell you something: Jokic is no yoke.
Despite the fact he's a 7-footer that can run, shoot, and play, the way he distributes the ball is absolutely genius. And he uses his height the way so few guys do, to give him a vision of this court that you can't get by being 6'5".
Well, he's
And
a completely unselfish player.
yes, completely.
Completely unselfish player, man. I saw the post-game interview, and Lisa Salters asked him, he says, as long as we win, I don't have to shoot.
No,
He says, I get the ball to who's ever clear. Usually when you're a 7-footer, you don't have that kind of mentality.
you don't have that mindset at all. Give me
Yeah,
the ball.
it's give me the ball and I'll go up and dunk it, or I'll go up and move it. But this kid moves the ball around. He runs the court. He plays D.
He's everywhere doing everything. He's Mr. Everybody.
I thought he was, I think Miami played a good game.
They just couldn't stay with him.
They just couldn't stay with Denver. Denver's a pretty darn good team. I thought they played not a great game, but considering they were on the road,
And I didn't know Jamal. I didn't know.
Was rested what, for a week? They were sitting
Yeah.
around.
They had a week. They didn't get rusty though. In fact, my favorite player on the team besides Josic is Jamal Murray. He's another one of those guys that is everywhere doing everything and has the ability to score inside, outside, fast, take the ball away from you. A lot of weird turnovers. Miami lost the ball many more times than they wanted to in transition. They just had the ball taken away from them.
Yeah, it almost was Nate McMillan-esque.
Yeah.
There was a lot of stealing going on. It was a lot of just I don't know. I don't know if it was more stealing or bad ball handling.
Well, they made that ball available, and Denver took it away many times.
Yeah, they certainly did.
It's funny how this team has never won anything, but they got it together now.
It is, it is. 47 years they've never been to the finals.
They can see it now.
The closest I think they got was that Mutombo. I think they went past that one year. But I think they got to the conference finals one year. But it just not a good. They just always had something missing. They had what was his name when George was there? Carmelo Anthony.
Yeah,
and
we could never get it together.
A great player, but he just couldn't get it together to.
And he's an example, and there's a lot of these guys in the NBA who's a great player, but doesn't have leadership abilities and can't acquire them, and doesn't bring the team with him when he goes into a shooting mood. Excuse me. Well, I have a question for you, Vinnie, about cars.
I don't know anything about cars, but I'll try to answer.
What is going on with the license plates where the cars now have black license plates where you can't see the plate during the daytime? It's part of the new look on the freeways. I thought that was illegal. I can't imagine that.
You're not supposed to have anything covering the license plate. There are The only black license plate that California issues is the old style
Now
black and
this is
gold.
a black cover over the.
Not supposed to have. It's illegal.
I thought so.
Yeah, because you're supposed to be able. They put them on there so that the traffic light cameras can't read them.
Yeah.
Or if they shoot somebody, you can't get the plate number.
So if it's too late to blacken out the plate after you shoot somebody, so you black it out before you shoot
Right,
somebody,
just ride
just in
around with
case.
it. You
Yeah.
ride around with it like that. But yeah, it's a problem. Not just in California, it's a problem anywhere where we have it up here too because we have the red light cameras. And I forget what the fine is up here. I think it's $250 if they catch you with
The video fine.
your plate. Well, if they catch you with your plate covered, if a cop pulls you over,
He can't run warrants on you when he approaches the car. He has no idea where he's going.
well, if you stand close to it, you can see it, but it reflects the light down. So the light doesn't reflect out as much as it does down.
Well, is this new technology that's going to give you a $250 ticket? I don't understand why anyone would go to the trouble.
Well, you want to hide your plate number from somebody.
Yeah. Okay.
Whether it's and you take a chance that either a cop isn't going to pull you over or that you're going to get away with it for long enough. There's more elaborate setups than that now. They have setups now where the plates have a shade that comes down over it. So you keep the shade down. If you see a cop, you just hit the button and the shade goes up and the cop can see the plate.
Wow. That must be what I'm dealing with when I see it on the freeway.
There's a couple of devices that are like that. But, the other thing you can do, why go through all of that trouble? All you got to do is go to a printer and print yourself up a paper plate. One of those paper temps. People are doing that all over the place.
And California now has a different temporary plate than it used to have. It looks just like a license plate, but it's paper. So
Right.
maybe they're trying to beat the counterfeits.
Right. Well, but see, with those plates, you can't because they're just done on a printer. So you can go and make a copy of it and tape it to your back windshield. You can go on a computer, take a snapshot of it, and go print it out on your computer. You can scan it and print it out. I don't know what the answer is to this technology, but it's really becoming a big deal in New York.
The state wants to do something about it.
Well, yeah, the state's very upset about it, and upset enough to tell people that when you buy a car, you'll have to, in the old days, you would have to wait to get your license plate. There were no temporary plates in New York. You went down to the motor vehicle. The dealers didn't issue plates. If you bought a car, the dealer or somebody had to go down to the Department of Motor Vehicles, register the car, and they gave you the license plates right away.
Wow.
And then you put them on the car. But there was no such thing as you buy a car and you have a temporary license plate. And I don't know, somewhere along the line, a bunch of years ago, they started
with the temps.
temporary plates. And I just think it's a very easily counterfeitable license plate. You can make all you need is a printer and paper.
You got to pick your good numbers because if anybody runs it and realizes it's a fake, now you got more problems in a little bit.
Well, but the reality is these people don't care. These people are. It's when it's coming up to, they figure like this, Michael. You got a car in New York City. It's going to cost you $600-700 to register the car. It's what it costs to register a car now in New York with all the taxes and everything. So you go put a fake plate on it. If you get pulled over, um, maybe it's a $300 fine.
But you've got a car that's not properly licensed. Can't they tow it?
Sometimes, but a lot of times they don't. A lot of times, if you're outside the city, they'll tow it. If you're in the city, a lot of times they won't impound it.
It's a good example of forget about it.
So what they're trying to do is they're trying to change the law so it's an automatic impound. So if they
Yeah.
catch you with an unregistered car,
Now the city owns your car, and you
well,
may get it back, and you may not.
if you come up with a couple of $1,000 to get it out of the pound, because you
Plus the
got to pay
ticket.
the fine, you got to pay all the tickets on the car, and you have to pay the towing
Registration.
fee.
Yeah.
So the fine's $300. The towing fee, I think, is usually about. I mean, you're not getting your car back for less than $600-700 by the time it's all over.
Which is what it would have cost you to register the car.
Right. But I mean, it's
It's a game.
it's a game. Yeah. For a lot of people, it's just a game. They say, well, I'll take my chances. If I get caught, I get caught. Problem is usually in those cases, not only do they take chances with the license plates, but they say, well, what do I need insurance for?
No.
So you get,
If you're not going to register the car, you don't need insurance.
right, you get whacked by somebody and they don't have any insurance.
What is the penalty for that on top of the actual cost of the accident?
It used to be a minimum of a year. It used to be a revocation of your license, not a suspension, a revocation,
You got
which
to
meant
take
that you lose your license. After 1 year, you can go back and apply for your license again.
driver's education.
But they also have these provisional licenses, which they didn't have when I was a kid. That say if you work for a living with your car, you drive for a living, that they can't take your license away. So they have to let you use your license for work only. But, how does that wind up? So, and the reality is, telling somebody they can't drive is nobody listens to that stuff anymore.
There's just too many of us out there.
Nobody listens to the concept of that I can't drive anymore because you took my license away. People get in their cars and they drive. I mean, I've seen people get their licenses suspended, leave the courthouse, get in their car, and drive away.
Gotta go home. Where are you going? Going home.
Well, I got to get home. I'm not taking the subway home.
And leave my car parked in the courtroom parking lot? No.
No, park it right out in front. Matter of fact, it's probably got a ticket sitting on the windshield. Because if I'm not gonna get a license, why should I bother paying my parking tickets?
It's also logical when you explain it that way.
You're just not going to do it. So unfortunately, you wind up with a serious lack of respect for the law, for the motor vehicle code and the law. And
you should have somebody from the Washington State Patrol discuss that as one of your guests someday.
Well, we've had from time to time, we've had people on talking about it. We just, a big thing that's going on up here right now, as it is down there, I'm sure, is wrong way drivers.
Whoa.
We've had 3 accidents in the last 2 months where people have gotten on the freeway going the wrong way.
Was alcohol involved, do you think?
Probably in all of them.
Yeah.
And killed, I think, 6 people or 8 people.
Wow.
Uh, One was on the West Seattle Bridge. Kids were 18 and 17.
The perfect age for going the wrong way on the freeway.
No, they were going the right way. The idiot in the
Oh,
pickup truck was going the wrong way. He didn't get it. He was in the hospital for a week.
naturally.
Maybe he'll get lucky and somebody will meet him outside the hospital when he comes when he gets out.
I got your registration right here.
Yeah. It's interesting, Mikey, because it's and there's got to be, to me, there's got to be a better way than just a couple of signs that say wrong way, because these people that are in the bag,
They don't know what wrong way means.
they're not looking. And people, the one who killed the kids on the West Seattle Bridge, people saw this guy in West Seattle. He was jumping up on the sidewalk. He was going all over, going up in parking lots and stuff like that, screeching his tires.
He
They
had
called
quite an
the cops.
evening.
The cops didn't get there in time.
Yeah. You think this is post-COVID inability to behave ourselves?
I don't know if it's post COVID or just that we're just, I don't know, Mikey. Listen, I think sometimes we have, we've lost so much respect for the law in this country in many ways. And so you have a situation now where people don't they don't think they have to abide by the law. I don't have to go down and get a driver's license. I don't have to follow the traffic rules. I don't have to follow the speed limit.
I'm a sovereign citizen. I don't recognize your authority over me.
Yeah, I think you have some of that going on. I don't know if that's mental illness. I don't know what that is,
What do
but
you call it? What do you call it when it meets politics? I just saw this morning an interview with voters in Iowa, where all the candidates are bringing their circus to town, and they were asked to give their summation of what Ron DeSantis has got going for him. And the husband says, "Well, a lot of people hate him, and that's good for us. A lot of people hate him. That's good for us," meaning Republicans. You hate
yeah,
our candidates. Our candidates thrive because you hate them, and the voters support them because somebody else hates them. So basically, finding out who hates this guy is now all that's necessary to actually win the vote. You don't have to have a plan. You don't have to have a platform. But if
well,
people hate you,
you don't have to have a platform anymore. No, you absolutely don't have to have a platform anymore. I mean, what was the Republican platform the last time? There was no platform.
that was their platform. We don't have a platform.
We don't have a platform. We'll let you know in 2 weeks.
We'll have it all cleared up in 6 months. We won't need a platform. All the problems will be taken care of in the first 6 months.
I
Then
mean,
for
I
three
don't
and a
know
half years,
why.
we're cruising.
Yeah, I don't know why anybody would vote for anybody who can't say, this is what I'm going to do. Whether you agree with them or not, you know, whether you believe in their politics or you don't believe in their politics, you got to show me what you want to do. I'm not going to vote for you because you're Steve Garvey. I'm not going to vote for you because you're Herschel Walker.
It's
I'm
still
not
a
going to
laugh
vote
line.
because you're
It's
Tommy Tuberville.
it's
I'm
a
going to vote for
punchline.
you because you say that you have a plan that could restore some sense of civility. That you have a plan that could restore some sense of accountability. I mean, I think in a lot of ways that's what it is, Michael, is accountability.
It's no
People,
longer a factor. And your bad behavior is up to you, and the rest of us will tolerate it because, after all, it's your freedom of expression. You're just venting. your
Well,
frustrations in being an American.
yeah, I mean, if there is, I mean, there's a certain part of this thing, that's gone so far the other way that people don't have to, you got to have some accountability. You got to be responsible for your actions.
I'd like to help you, son, but you're too young to vote.
Yeah. You have to at some point, somebody has to stand up and say, it's not about prison reform. It's about making it tough for people when they go to prison so that they don't want to go back there.
Well, they made it as miserable as they can, and it turns out that they're as awful as it is. Some people choose to spend their lives skirting the law, ensuring that they will return to prison in some day, some way.
Then maybe we should accommodate those people. Then maybe we should have a place where they can go and we can lock them up and they say, okay, we will allow you to lock us up and throw away the key. Give us 3 squares and we'll stay out of society.
You don't get fed till you've made license plates, and I don't care if they can be read from the CHP at 200 yards.
Well,
Let's make those license plates.
You can make them out of paper now. You don't have to stand by that press anymore.
Paper mache.
But some dynamic has to change. Something in our system has to change because it's almost like we're headed toward this I
Abyss.
don't care type of society. And if you don't care about this country and you don't care about what's going on, what do we got? We got nothing.
We have people trying to figure out what woke means so they can figure out if they are with them or against them.
Well, that's the, it's again. Now, I'm not a fan of DeSantis, and I'm less of a fan because he can't get that word woke out of his mouth. The problem with this country is not the fact that people are too politically correct. That's not what's wrong with this country. But there's people who are going to point to that and say that that's what's wrong with the country. And there are certain people who will go along with that. But that's not the problem.
No. In fact, that's nonsense. That's a clear example of a silly distraction.
It's like the gay marriage thing when Bush ran. It's like
in honor of the good people of Florida, don't say gay, would you please?
Yeah, it's just it's something. It's a shiny bauble to put in front of you, so you don't see the real problems that are going on.
It's like begging strips for humans.
And I don't know. To me, the real problem that's going on here, Mikey, is that this country is losing its middle class. You look around and you just see, you see a respect for authority, respect for. Now, again, we can turn around and say, well, when we were 25 years old, what was our buzzword was don't trust anybody over 30, right?
It was a good motto. Until Abby Hoffman got to be 31.
Yeah. So I don't know. I wish I knew what the answer was. I would package it up and sell it to somebody.
That was the greatest green room experience I've ever had. I did the Ross and Ann show on Channel 5, KPIX.
Yeah.
And besides myself on the show was Abby Hoffman and Marie Osmond. Now that was a green room, and we were all in the same room.
Yeah, how could you?
Well, Abby was happy to be there and talking to everybody. Miss Osmond was a little quiet. It was a hard day to be a frontline Mormon with Abby in the room.
She was probably shocked at the fact that she was on the same show with Abby. I met Abby a couple of times. I thought he was okay. I mean, a little wild.
He was a joker.
You know, he was a joker. He was one of those. You know, I mean, they definitely. Steal This Book may still be the greatest book I ever read in my life.
Did you steal it?
Come to think of it, I think I did actually. I think
There's
I took it from the school library.
There's great honor. You're a good boy, Vinnie. You learned the New York way.
But you know, Steal This Book was an influence in our lives when we were kids.
What do you got on your show tomorrow, Vin?
Well, Senator Steve Garvey. Isn't that just going to frost your nuts if that happens?
That's not going to happen. He probably won't. He's declared his intention to look into to inquire as to the ins and outs of what it would take to. Can you just make me senator? No, Steve, you have to run for the office. Can't you just call me up from AAA and I'll be a senator? No, that's the Washington senators. You're going to be a California senator if you win. How do you do this? You got to run for office. Is it like running to first? Yeah, and no.
Yeah,
you'll get the hang of it.
And let's not forget that this is a guy who lost to Marvin Hamlish. I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
That's enough, actually. Tell me about your show tomorrow, Vinnie.
Oh, we're going to have a show tomorrow, Mikey.
At 8:00 in the morning. You know, I always sleep through the show.
You got to wake up. It's going to be an exciting show. We're going to talk a little bit about road trips tomorrow, and you know, more and more people are getting fed up with airlines, so they're getting back into cars. Consequently, try to get a camping spot.
Can't be done.
Try to get try to get a KOA, or try to, they're full up. They're jammed.
Try to merge from the 101 to the 134 if you don't know where you're going. You got a problem.
And Governor DeSantis, and this is a question that we can leave people with to think about. Governor DeSantis in Florida has said that the people of Florida get first dibs on the campgrounds. So if you're from Florida and you want a campground, you get it before somebody that's not from Florida. Is that fair? Is that right?
Is that the American way?
Tourism. He's really trying to kick tourism out of Florida, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
And listen, I know people in Georgia, they've told me they're very, 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 very happy to have the tourism there.
Of course they are.
They say you can pick up a Disney World and load it up onto some trucks, and we'll come down and help you. We'll send a few people down to help you.
This weekend,
lots of land north of Atlanta.
Yeah, this weekend Disney made so far $120 million on Little Mermaid. They've got a new hotel that they're going to build in Anaheim called the Pixar Hotel. Well, all the characters from the Pixar animation will be featured in the hotel. They're spending $100 million on that one. If you don't think that Disney has a papered-in plan to exit Florida, you haven't been watching the action. They got an exit plan, and they'll just move what happened to the tower? The tower where Mickey used to dance. We took it down. What'd you do with it?
Just north. It's in Helen, Georgia now.
We're setting it up.
Town, there's a little town in Georgia called Helen, and Helen, Georgia, is like Leavenworth here, or Solvang.
Oh, really?
And the people that run Helen, Georgia, would love to have the Disney people come up there. They give them all the land they want. They'll knock everything down. They'll eminent domain anybody they gotta. So you bring that to about 100 miles north of Atlanta, and we'll put an airport in if we gotta.
So we're thinking about moving our Disney operations to Georgia. What's your view on that? We're open. That's all you need to know. We're open for business.
You can run the whole state. You and Tyler Perry run the whole state.
Yeah.
We don't care. I mean, Atlanta, Georgia. I'm not a big fan of Georgia, to be honest with you, but they're certainly welcoming to the business community, and Florida's getting a reputation of a place that's not welcoming to the business community.
Going out of their way to make it ridiculous to be there. And picking on the number one employer in the state, if I'm not mistaken.
And I think the Florida State University system is the number one employer, but they would probably be around number two, I would think.
And they have a lot of fun. They have a lot of fun rides and carnival food at the campus.
Yeah, people forget that they can. Those buildings can be picked up and moved.
Pick them right up.
And
it's a small world after all.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, you start to look at it and you say, what are we doing here?
No, go back to that couple from Des Moines who said the reason that they're involved in politics, the reason they're interested, the reason they're talking to a reporter is because Americans hate their candidate. Disney hates their candidate. Good. We hate Disney. Get that Mickey Mouse and that Donald Duck out of here.
How could you hate Disney? You really got to be an ornery son of a bitch to hate Disney.
Boy, you got to be mean all day long to hate Disney.
Yeah, I mean, how could you hate Mickey Mouse? I mean, I could see if you didn't like him because you don't like, or you're a little upset because Donald Duck doesn't have pants or whatever. But
he had pants. He had them. He doesn't wear them. That's all.
But I mean, they're pumping all this money into your state. They're responsible for taking a section of your state that was swampland that had nothing but mosquitoes and alligators and packing it with people.
They turned it into an earner.
They have what they have down there because of Disney for the most part. How do you mess that up? I thought New York City was the only place that could mess things like that up.
Well, there's always somebody right behind you. If Disney loses its rent on 42nd Street, there's somebody right behind them to take it up. But not in Orlando. In fact, I don't know how well Universal Studios is doing down there, to tell you the truth. How many people go to Florida just to go to the Universal?
I think it's like a package. I think you go to Disney, you go to Universal, you go to Harry Potter Land down here. I don't know. I haven't been down there. I haven't been to Florida in so long. Last time I was in Florida was 10 years ago.
Super Bowl.
No. I was there after Super Bowl. I was there I was in Jacksonville when I was working at Channel 13. We went on the road and did a game in Jacksonville, and then I was in Miami for something. I forget what.
The closing of Wolfie's 23.
I wish. That place, man.
They got pickled tomatoes on every table.
I went to Cuba. That's right. That's when I was.
There you go.
When I went to Cuba, we left out of Miami, and then I drove back from Miami back home to Pittsburgh.
Takes you a long time to get out of Florida, doesn't it? You drive and drive and drive. Where are we? Florida.
Well, it took me a while too because I got off and I went to where my grandfather's house was in Grant, near Cocoa Beach. Cocoa Beach, my friend. And got off and saw some stuff. Went to a couple of places that I knew.
Where is Wayne Cochran buried? Is he buried in Miami? You got to go by his grave.
I think he was buried in Texas. He was a preacher for a long time. He had a show on.
Same thing.
Was it TBN?
Really? That I did not know.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was. He had a Wayne Cochran show. Uh, let's see if it says here where he's buried. Wayne Cochran.
Could be Schenectady. I'm guessing Schenectady.
No, he was born in Texas, I think. No, he was born in Georgia. Um, Legacy. Uh, he died in 2017 in Miramar, Florida. 78 years old. He retired from music to become an evangelist minister
Oh
in
my
Miami,
God.
Florida. And
But they'll let anybody be a preacher. That's a fact.
remember that he most famously starred in that movie with Joe Namath, CC and Company.
Good grief. By the way, Joe just had his 80th
Yeah,
birthday.
imagine that. Hey, did you see like 2 weeks ago that Robert De Niro had a kid?
Yeah.
Not Robert De Niro. Well, guess who else is having a kid?
Uh, Michael Corleone.
Yeah, Pacino's now just announced that his girlfriend is, I don't know, 7 months pregnant. And
And
Pacino's like 80.
is she 19? How old is she?
I don't think she's 19, but obviously she's a lot younger than he is. I don't know. It's kind of tough, man. It's kind of tough to have. I mean, the kid's never going to know its father.
No. No bounce, no playing catch in the backyard.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, hey, God bless you if that's what you want to do, but you do cheat the kid out of having a father, his real father around. But hey, there's a lot of people that don't have their real father around, right?
Probably Pacino and De Niro among them.
No, I think. Well, I know De Niro's father was around. Pacino's father, I think, split early on them. I think because they lived in East Harlem, and then the old man split and they moved up to the Bronx. But De Niro's parents, De Niro was from the Village.
Really?
Yeah, De Niro's family lived down in the Village. I think the father was an artist or something, if
Makes
I'm not
sense.
mistaken, and was down in the Village at that time.
You think there's any room for the artists in the village these days?
No,
No.
no, no. There's only room for very rich people, stockbrokers, and
Tech
high tech
executive.
people,
Yeah.
and there's no more Louis Abalafias.
No
No,
colorful characters of Greenwich Village.
no more. A coffee at the Cafe Fiend, John, probably cost you about $11.
And what if I want a scone?
Forget it.
25.
You,
Forget
you, you better
you
come.
can't
You better come with your American Express card.
you can't afford a scone. Bring your own.
I mean, I don't think there's any. There's all that whole thing has changed. The only thing that's still the same on Bleecker, I think, is there's a pork store, Italian pork store, Ottavino and Son, that's still there.
Wow.
It's just off I think just off of 7th Avenue and Bleecker. And there's also a pastry shop that's still there.
Wasn't there a place on Bleecker McDougal called the Hip Bagel? HIP Bagel?
I don't remember. I remember there was a Bleecker in McDougal. No, I don't remember. I don't remember. I mean, I'm not saying it wasn't there. What I'm saying is I don't
Yeah.
remember it being there. I know there was a pizza place on the corner of Third and McDougal, and there was this pizza place, and then there was the Village Artists was right next door, and then on the other side was the Night Owl,
Oh wow, yeah.
the Night Owl Cafe, and that was right on Third and Bleecker, and then there was a bunch of other places there. A lot of there's 4 or 5 head shops on that block. I
Of
remember,
course.
and it was the Cafe Fiend John.
The
And
hardest
then
thing to keep clean was the little net,
the screen.
the screen that went in the pipe. Yeah,
Well,
always clogged up. Yeah, the boil.
you'd buy 3 or 4 of them and keep them with you.
You never did have that. In fact, I always was without. One thing that you could do is save them, take them out and boil them, and then put them back in. But
Well, you could always take a piece of foil from a cigarette pack and poke some holes in it
make yourself a pipe.
and make yourself, or you could do it aluminum foil. Just take a piece of aluminum foil and make a little pipe out of it.
Aluminum foil over a bowl will do it.
One of my jobs after school, man, I used to make pipes. In the basement of Record Spectacular, man, we'd sit there and make pipes.
Could I get a Vinnie pipe? I don't like the one I got. I want one that Vinnie made.
I actually have somewhere in my stuff. I still have a pipe that I made.
That I believe.
The coolest pipe I had a pipe that was Mickey Mouse dressed as a wizard. That was a cool pipe.
That when he was dressed up for the Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Yeah, dressed up as I don't know how it got. Obviously it wasn't an official Disney thing, but somebody knocked them off and made them.
But if you were a sorcerer, would you have a mouse for an apprentice? Think about it. Is that your first choice?
No, I would try to have a couple of tall, good-looking women
Yes.
as apprentices, but that's me.
That's why you're a better wizard than whatever. Who was the wizard in the Sorcerer's Apprentice? He had the ability to control the water and everything. I guess it was Mickey.
Yeah, Mickey, I think was the. All right. Well, it's 8:00 tomorrow morning is our little radio show about cars. I suggest that you get a lot of your friends to tune in and come and hang with us and talk about cars.
Come early, stay late.
Yeah, come early, stay late, bring coffee and some kind of baked good.
It's a baked good Saturday morning.
Yeah, it could be one of those. I'm craving one of those upside down looking bran muffins with the pecans on the top and the honey drizzled with the honey on the top. You know what I'm talking about?
You want a dozen? I'll make sure.
Actually, you know what you really want to know what I would love, Michael? I've been jonesing lately. And it's because I haven't been back to New York in so long. I've been jonesing for a New York diner corn muffin, man.
That's it. That's all you need.
You just cut that thing in half, you slather some butter on it, you put it on the grill, you let it sit there for about 3 or 4 minutes, pick it up, put it in the thing, you get that in a cup of coffee, and really that's all you need.
Put it in your thing.
That's
Truer words have never been spoken.
There's nothing, you don't need anything more than that.
Okay, I got the muffin, I got my coffee. What do? Vinnie said, put it in your thing. Let's go.
Let's go. You have the cup that says it's our pleasure to serve you. And you're ready to go.
With the little Greek designs around the label.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's all you really, between that and a fried egg and bacon on a roll. A little ketchup, a little salt, pepper.
Time for a mid-morning snack, I think.
Yeah, I'm talking myself into hunger.
Have a good show tomorrow, Vin.
All right, Mikey. You have a good weekend. give Bo a little hug for me when you see him.
I'll see him Sunday at 11 o'clock for Bo's birthday.
Wish him happy birthday and my best to the family.
Thank
And
you.
I will see you on Monday if the Lord's will and the creek don't rise.
A miraculous morose Monday is headed our way.
Hey, peace, love, and Manischewitz, baby.
What a wine.
See you, man. Where'd my button go? Oh, there we go. And thank you all for listening, too. See you tomorrow morning for drive time. Bye-bye now. Tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock, right here, same place. Bye-bye.